There are different kinds of people, and they have different needs. And our temples, our preaching centers, bhakti vrikshas, our various projects are meant ideally to cater to the needs of various groups of people. And if we only cater to the needs of one group, we alienate other groups. Now, many devotees have said that sometimes I meet people or I have friends or family and I don't feel comfortable telling them to go to the temple, especially if I'm not going to be there. But they're afraid or they're concerned that they won't understand things, or they may meet someone who's fanatical, or it will be too religious, or too this or that, and they won't appreciate it and they'll never come back. That's a serious concern. How will we push Krishna consciousness into the future if we have temples in which many of us are concerned about sending people to those temples, that they won't have a proper or won't have a good experience? So our job as preachers is to create environments for different kinds of people in which they can grow in Krishna consciousness. So one environment may be conducive to another, to a certain kind of person, another to another. And that's why we get this we get this liberal conservative idea, be traditional, be more adaptive, and then they disagree with one another. Well, some people like it more traditional, some people need something which is more in touch with the culture that they're in, the way they live, the way they think. Is one right or wrong? Well, one is right that helps people, one is wrong that doesn't help people. Now, obviously, there are certain things we can't compromise and certain changes we can't make. And so if people don't like that, Krishna's God, if they don't like it, what can we do? We can't not make him God. But obviously there's ways we can present God that become more palatable. That's the art of preaching. But there are people who like traditional approaches, and we need those. And there are people who don't like that. They don't want to be Indian they don't want to be religious or ritualistic. They want to be more spiritual, or what we might say, they want more of the substance of religion rather than the form. We have to cater to that. We have to understand their needs. We have to understand their mind, how they think. And then they will feel comfortable and they'll want to participate. So we should not do anything that makes it difficult for people to participate in Krishna consciousness. If they don't want to participate, that should be because they don't want to, not because we did anything that would discourage or alienate them. And once they become Krishna conscious, the same holds true. We shouldn't do anything that would discourage or alienate devotees. If they give up Krishna consciousness, it shouldn't be because of us. It should be because of their own weakness or their own choice. But when it's because of us, that's a failure of our preaching, it's a failure of our movement. And so we want to think in terms of how we can bring people into Krishna consciousness in a way that they relate to, in a way that's encouraging to them, in a way they feel comfortable practicing Krishna consciousness, and similarly how they can stay in Krishna consciousness in a way that they feel comfortable and that they're being supported and not being judged or condemned for not being on a certain level or not adopting certain lifestyle changes that they're not ready to make. That's very important, and to let people come according to where they're at and let them grow according to what we teach them, and let them choose the speed at which they can grow and what they can adapt to. And then we will be successful. So our job is just to create environments in which people can grow. In certain environments, certain people can grow. In certain environments, they won't grow. And so we need to be more conscious. And how to do that? Well, you have to see how to do that. Different nights at the temple for different groups of people, or different places in the temple for different groups of people, or different locations altogether that have a different culture, a different environment. And some people don't like the religious aspect, or they don't like kirtans where wampers are banging and people are jumping around. It's not that that's wrong. It's just that we have to be sensitive to the fact that some people maybe going to other organizations because the kirtans are different, simply because the kirtans are different, or the teachings are more relatable, more practical, less philosophical, less abstract, and in dealing more with the issues that concern them. So we have to understand these things so we can adapt Krishna consciousness in a way that people see the value of it and want to practice it. And so we have to take a lot of that responsibility upon ourselves and not just say, no, we just have to do it this way because this is the way to do it. It may not always be the way to do it, and if we can adapt in a way that is better, then certainly we should. Hare Krishna.